This is Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley on WFAA.
It is time now for Reporters Roundtable to put the headlines in perspective. Ross is off this week, but we have Bud and Bernadine to talk about the last week in politics. And Bud, let's start with you. That second Cruz-Beto debate in Houston, supposed to be tonight, was canceled. Is that good news for either one of them?
Well, you know, this was going to be the town hall debate. This would really show off Beto more of his casual ability at talking one-to-one with people in the audience. This one was going to be to Beto's advantage. You know, I don't know if they'll want to reschedule it. And
Bernadine, to make sure we point out to the viewers, this obviously was canceled tonight. The second debate was canceled because Senator Cruz had to be in D.C. because of the Kavanaugh hearings and a potential vote on the Supreme Court nominee. But question for you, do you think the first debate moved the needle either way for either of these?
I don't think so. I think that the things that each one needed to say to their base, they did. However, one thing about the debate that was canceled, it would have worked more to Beto's favor in terms of the flow and the style of the debate. But he will have an opportunity to practice more for the upcoming debate if this one is not rescheduled.
You know, Cruz had such an advantage in that first debate. He was just making the conservative points. You know, he was kind of bringing the red meat, talking about socialism, flag burning, Hillary Clinton. He threw out everything. You know, connected Beto with Bernie Sanders. You know, Cruz won the debate probably, but then in the end, Beto won the sympathy with his final comment about true to form.
True to form, indeed.
Well, you know what, true to form did play well, but I think that both did well, and that was, I mean, some of the people who watched it wanted to say that it was a draw, because Beto did well communicating to his base, and Cruz did extremely well communicating to his base. Well, so I think that you could almost have a draw.
Jason, one thing that's important about this is that this Friday night when it was raining, football was canceled, 8% of the TVs in the market were tuned to the debate. That's a pretty good number. People wanted to see Beto and Ted Cruz. I don't know if they'll want to see him again 2 more times.
Well, let's talk about this just briefly here because I want to switch to another topic. But Bernadine, let me ask you. The next debate is the 16th of October. What do either of these candidates need to do to prepare for that one?
That's a very good question, because I think that Cruz is intent on playing to his base. And I think you're going to see more of that on the issues that they will debate. And Beto did an excellent job playing to his base. But it still leaves true to form that they need to reach out. And especially Beto, because his supporters, it's going to be even more of a challenge to get those people to the polls, those voters.
Reach out to the independents. Let me switch topics, Bud. I want to ask you about the voter registration deadline. It's 9 days away from right now. Already, though, Texas has 1.5 million new voters. Which side benefits more from that? Do we know?
You know, we've always been talking about the demographic change in Texas. Democrats talk about registering new voters, but a lot of those new voters are in the suburbs. Texas is still drawing a lot of people moving into Texas from the rest of the United States. A lot of Republicans from other states. The growth is the fastest in the suburbs, 4% and 5% growth. So, you know, you have to say that the demographics are gaining, but the Republicans are gaining too.
And Bernadine, conventional wisdom is that suburban voters are often Republican. Do you think these new voters are Republican voters?
That's a very good question, because you have the different companies that are moving into Texas, but to say that they're primarily Republican voters, I don't think that could be necessarily true. But also you have some of the cities, some of these urban cities, they're increasing their voter registration as well. Right. So we're going to, as we've said from the beginning, even the primary, it's going to determine who gets their supporters to the polls. And I think that is what each candidate is doing when you talk about debates. They're talking to their core groups, and they're trying to get that enthusiasm, which Beto has, but in order to get them to the polls.
Indeed. Good deal. Guys, thank you guys very much. We are out of time for that one. Thank you for watching as well. ABC's This Week starts in just a moment right here on Channel 8. We'll see you again next Sunday. Hope you have a good week.